Okay, good morning, every one of you. And setting a proper motivation. The great teachers, they mention, they emphasize on the need for two deeds. One in the beginning and one in the end. One in the beginning is setting a proper motivation, and one at the end is dedicating the merits or the virtues accordingly. Setting proper motivation, it's like the steering, it's like the rein of the horse. This gives us the direction, proper direction, where we are to go to the intended goal. So that is decided by the, directed by the setting proper motivation. And then in the end, to make sure that the virtue that you engaged in is not destroyed, is determined by the dedication. Okay, so it's very meaningful and significant. So setting proper motivation has three points. Today we'll do it with the instructions, and tomorrow let's try without any instructions. See if you can do on our own, in our own ways. Okay, the 3 points. One is the refuge field. Number 2, Bodhicitta field. Number 3, the purpose of this practice. And refuge field, again, what to visualize, how to visualize. Bodhicitta field, what to visualize, how to visualize. And the what to visualize is one thing, and then more important thing is the how to visualize them. So that makes the whole difference. That determines the how intensely, how swiftly you traverse along the path. That's determined by the how you visualize the refuge field and the Bodhicitta field. Okay, the refuge field. Visualize Bodhisattva, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the Aramanjushri, Aravadukatishvara, Aravajrapani, Aratara, Arakishilikarpa, Arasamadabhadra, Arakashagarba, Aranagarjuna, Acharya Deva, Aranaga Bodhi, Acharya Buddhapalita, Acharya Chandrakirti, Arya Sangha, Acharya Vasubandhu, Acharya Dinaga, Acharya Dharmakirti, Bodhisarashani Deva, Bodhisarashani Rakshita, Acharya Kamalashil, Lama Seringpa, Lama Atisha Dipangara Shri Jnana, Guru Padmasambhava, Sajan Kungwa Yingbo, Sakya Pandita, Jesun Tilopa, Jesun Naropa, Jesun Marpa, Jesun Mela, Jesun Tapalachi, Lama Tsungapa, Gelsa Rinpoche, Ketu Rinpoche, and all the teachers who you see as inspiration to you, pertaining to the unconditional love of Bodhicitta and the wisdom to see the ultimate reality in its true form. And how you visualize them. They're like a very affectionate parents, and imagine that you come home demoralized, being bullied by elder children at school, and imagine that your parents are waiting there to give full love, affection, attention, and embrace. Bodhicitta field. Visualize your two parents on the two sides, and your children, and all your their family members, and everyone here in Theosophical Society branch, and everyone in Finland, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. And how you visualize them? Here you're the mother, and all others are like your children. Imagine they come home demoralized, and you are there to give full love, affection, attention, and embrace, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. And the purpose of this practice is to realize that within us, the core of our being, there is the Buddha nature, the seed of perfection. And we, no matter how crude, how defiled we are, the true nature of our being is so pure. And this is not exaggeration. This is not reified. It is the true nature. This is a fact. But why it is not manifest? It's like a gold when mixed with the soil. Though the nature of the gold is to shine, glow, as long as the mixture is there, mixture of the soil is there, it doesn't glow. In the eyes of the ordinary beings, is to be dumped, but in the eyes of the experts, that is so precious. There's gold inside. Likewise, with ordinary beings, we try to be so unkind with each other, so unconcerned about each other. But the Buddhas, like the experts, they see this very pure gold like Buddha nature inside each and everyone. They love each and everyone so much, the way the mother loves the child. So our job is to be kind to ourselves by awakening this Buddha nature within, so that you become fearless, total fearless. You experience the infinite happiness. How do we do that? For that we have to identify what the mental defilements are, which obscure this beautiful Buddha nature inside, what the defilements are, and then accordingly apply the remedies. And the defilements are of two kinds, the gross and the subtle. Gross one referred to as the afflictive obscurations, the presence of which stops us from achieving the total fearlessness, technically referred to as nirvana. And the subtle one, referred to as cognitive obscurations, the presence of which stops us from achieving infinite happiness, or referred to as the Buddhahood. And this gross one is of three kinds: contaminant karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds of the two. And somehow these three hover around self-grasping ignorance. Given that the development is the nature of the self-grasping ignorance, the remedy lies in the wisdom of emptiness, the wisdom, the light of the wisdom. And this wisdom, if driven by the force of renunciation, the mere renunciation, it will take you to the state of fearlessness. Whereas if it's driven by the force of bodhicitta, the unconditional love towards all human sentient beings, your maximum benefit will be accrued. The infinite happiness, the Buddhahood, alongside the fearlessness. With the same remedy, by the bodhicitta as the driving force, supported by great compassion, and the grounded on renunciation. So with this motivation, desire to learn what this wisdom of emptiness is, what is bodhicitta is, what is great compassion is, what is renunciation is, we study, reflect, and meditate these 6 days of the Bodhicitta retreat. So with this mind, the morning practice, part of that, particularly morning practice, is to consolidate what we have been studying and reflecting, and to on a basis of the daily practice. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to page 3, and you are reading this, and all sentient beings are joining you, all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. And teach with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha, with Dharma, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, by my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas, and the Buddhas. Complete peace. Knowledge of past causes helping my grace to achieve the aims of the world. Possession of omniscience helps subdue and expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the real guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I join the mode of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodham Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Svaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodham Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Svaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodham Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Svaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. Cessation of causes as well, shown by the great seer. Profound burst, peaceful elaboration, free, clear light, and non-composite. Such is the nectar like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized, and has the nature of space, is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times of obeisance. All composite things are impermanent, all contaminated things of the nature of suffering, all phenomena of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the sustenance that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page. Yes, page 14. The praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, to the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the four destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, Lord of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace our seven strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the three worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dusty like you, the three worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, they feel the merit with qualities like a vast ocean. To you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show no path of liberation, wholly feel qualified with realizations, but devoted to more precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly, this is a teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the fall, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Okay, Heart Sutra, page 29. I prostrate to the Allied Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on Master Valsha's mountain Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was dissolved in the concentration on the categories of phenomena quoted. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravatuteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom, and behold those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravatuteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravatuteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness of form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composing factors, and consciousness empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composing factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on up to and including no might element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation of the path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, and then, having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awakened, unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mother of the perfection of wisdom, the mother of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. Mother of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tyata Om Gade Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravadutishvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. Once you practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you've indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitvadiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravadutishvara, who surrounded the entirety, along with the worlds of gods, humans, asuras and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Buddha. As we recite the Hasuta mantra, visualize that the Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us thus: don't remain in the fears of samsara. Come towards ultimate happiness. By awakening the seed of perfection within yourself, the Buddha nature in yourself, and you hearing this melodious voice of the Buddha Shakyamuni, you inspire your two parents, your children, your family members, and everyone here in Finland and everyone in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy and in the entire universe. And all your dear sentient beings hearing what you are saying, they are so inspired. They are so, after being so exhausted, being tired of the samsaric existence, they're being so inspired by what you're saying. So they happily join you in this journey of traversing the path of enlightenment. Yatha Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gade Gade Aragade Parasamgade Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgade Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgade Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gade Paragade Parasamgade Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgade Bodhi Swaha Yatha Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgade Bodhi Swaha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, May any outer hindrance be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be non-existent. May they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. 8 verse of my training, page 35. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, and those who prosper strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes, which in hurtful ways may regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains with the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast the space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the cheerleading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. 7 in practice. You the Buddhas, I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri. You the Buddhas who the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past and future, and the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech and sincere mind, I bow down, with the energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, and with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms in the world. To all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom of Buddhas numbered as particles. Each of them is a host of Bodhisattvas. I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with the Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspects from my love, I sing the breathtaking excellence of the Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugathas. Beautiful flowers and regal gardens, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to the victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandal perfume, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array, offer to you, the victorious ones. By transcendental offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with the strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech and mind, all run by attachment, anger and ignorance.
All these I openly lay bare before you, and I lift my heart to rejoice in the merits
of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who attain the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are one, please turn the supreme will of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by accumulating rejoicing, requesting that the Buddhas didn't teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, mental offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. Imagine this as a Buddha felt and offer it. May all sentient beings attain. O Sajibhe Gye Jo May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming utterly frustrated with ignorance of the grasp and true existence. Please bless me with genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious Bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience that doesn't see even an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Ratna Menda Lagam Niratiyami. Okay, the foundation of all good qualities. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. Great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once. It's greatly manifold and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as in a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and a definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeing them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to stay this trained in Supreme Bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma abiding specialist sign. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges not like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all out and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separate from perfect Gurus, to enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stations of the path. Okay, we'll first say the maximum mantra in the meaning of this mantra. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, a Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception, Sankaba, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Lord Sankta, by your feet I make prostrations. Okay, we'll say this, the mantra together, skipping the third line. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, a Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Lobsangtaba, at your feet I make prostrations. Okay, generate the amount of consuming yoga, Tamjik Nijosam Kepa. And again, a reminder that to extract the meaning out of our life, the four things, if you can do on a daily basis, that would eventually, you'll see the result, the benefit very clearly. A single point of meditation is number one, and then renunciation, Bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness. Then incorporating, taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, that would be very meaningful. And okay, what we are doing here, these 4 points, and okay, these 4 points. If we see that the people who have been receiving teachings from many teachers, okay, last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and so forth. And then finally, what we do on a daily basis, what practice do we do? We have to consolidate. We should be able to consolidate all these what we learned in your practice. And then finally, if we just evaluate ourselves, what we are doing, and most of the people somehow, let's say they, after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of being with the teachings of the Buddha, following the Tibetan tradition, Tibetan Buddhism, we see that they have some prayers to do. This is what we see. Most of the people, whether Tibetans or the Westerners, Indians, Chinese, we see that then we have some prayers to do, and in some cases we can't even finish the prayers on time. Prayers meaning to say something, to read the scriptures and so forth. Okay, so that is fine for the time being initially. And the point is that is your mind really undergoing transformation? This next question. Do you see any change within yourself? Like the concrete change. Do you see that after 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? If you don't see the change, maybe you are more grounded in the sense of, okay, so otherwise if you don't have these prayers to say, then you would go to pubs or the nightclubs or these things. Okay, this is a change. There's a very good change, but it's the real transformation happening there. Your mind is becoming more calm. Your mind is becoming more compassionate, and then particularly with pertaining to the wisdom of emptiness, and that say the trigger for agitation. The trigger for agitation arises, and do you feel deep inside a calmness? Do you feel that? Okay, on the surface, a little bit of agitation can come, it's fine. And deep inside, you feel grounded, you feel the solid, not being wavered. Do you feel that? If you don't feel that, then this is where we're missing this part. What we're doing, what are we going to do now? The concrete practice, like shamatha practice. And then some people, again, this is where we're going wrong, where some people, they focus so much on shamatha, just shamatha, thinking that this is the path. Again, this is not complete. This is very important and is indispensable part of the path, but simply by this, it is incomplete. And then some people, they focus on the wisdom of emptiness, wisdom. They think that this is the path. Again, this is completing. This is also not true. Without the shamatha, again, the wisdom of emptiness alone would not help us. Then I don't know. I hardly see people focusing on the bodhicitta. This is the saddest part. The shamatha, you see some people focusing there, and some people focus on the emptiness, and many people on tantra. This is where we are going wrong. Many people on tantra, without the ground of shamatha, wisdom, emptiness, bodhicitta, without these things, they just spend so much of time in tantra. This is very, I would say, unfortunate. Okay. And then if there is somebody who is focused so much on bodhicitta, without the wisdom of emptiness, still, and this would be much safer. Focusing so much on bodhicitta without the emptiness, it's much safer, because with the bodhicitta, I'll become Buddha. This aspiration is being built. Then automatically the next question comes, how? And with the wisdom, automatically it will drive us into the wisdom emptiness. Whereas you go into wisdom emptiness, focus wisdom emptiness without bodhicitta, then driving us to bodhicitta is very unlikely. And the tendency is that the wisdom of emptiness is more enticing. It's more enticing. You can study, and in the meanwhile you see that you're growing, intellectually growing. You can see something concrete happening within you. And then once you get a glimpse of this is something very profound in the sense that you could see, you could feel the tranquility inside, a tinge of fear, and the tickling sensation in the body. You can feel that. And particularly the very profound feeling which you can never experience with the shamatha practice, with the bodhicitta, with the renunciation, this experience of emptiness. This is something which is so profound that the people can easily be glued to it. And then even after knowing all these practices, if you're given a choice, most people will choose emptiness. Whereas if you don't get emptiness, what do you do? Then you have to go for something else, right? So your mind wants a bit of stillness and calmness and observing the sensations, observing your mind and so forth. Okay, so this is it. Whereas if you get emptiness, then what we discussed 2 days ago, that if you get the chocolate, then you will let go of the ordinary candies. The moment you get the emptiness, then people will be glued to that. This experience is so profound. Okay, but emptiness, it requires a lot of extensive studies. Even with this kind of tea, if, for example, if this retreat is for, like, I would say 10 days, you will get a pretty good picture of emptiness. But then it's going to be like if I'm going to draw a graph, like say the x-axis and y-axis. If I do a graph, then same with what we do of emptiness for about like 10 days, like intense crash course. Then the experience of emptiness, we can see that it's like shooting up, and then at a point it will become flat, and then at a certain point it will go down. This is what is bound to happen, because so when it becomes flat, but when it goes down, it's very discouraging. It's very discouraging. So there, the need for extensive studies. Why in the monastic universities they study for like 10, 15, 20 years? It's for that reason that initially, particularly when we do some crash course like this, suddenly you see some kind of glimpse, you are so excited. And then at a point it becomes mechanical, no experience coming up. And then if you keep going like this, it can go down. Okay, so go down, and then the need for extensive studies. With extensive studies, then what happens? Go down. The moment you engage in extensive studies, then it will start to again rise. But early it should be like this, very sharp rise. Now after the deeper studies, emotional studies, it's not going to be sharp rise like this, it's going to be slanting, but it's very steady. What you feel now, it is like a certain glimpse comes to you. Glimpse is not in your hands. Whereas that time when it starts rising up, then that becomes, whatever experience that you have, it becomes your property. Whenever you like to have it, you can have it. What we are doing now, sudden glimpse comes, a very profound glimpse comes to you. It is not in your hand, like the what is lighthouse. Lighthouse, the light coming to you to tell you that okay, now the land is nearby. This lighthouse, the light, is not your light. It is from outside. It is not in your hand. Whereas later on, when the light, when it starts rising up again, then the light becomes yours. You can have it whenever you like. Okay, so this is very important. In other words, in simple terms, in short, what I'm saying is that if you really want to extract a meaning, give a meaning to your life, which means you should be kind to yourself. And then we should be wisely kind to yourself. The best way by which to be wise to kind to yourself is, to be kind to yourself is to look for fearlessness and the infinite happiness. And how to be wisely kind to yourself? Fearlessness is given by the wisdom of emptiness, and the infinite happiness, wisdom and emptiness, along with the Bodhicitta. So this is if we can do. And then the wisdom and emptiness must be supported by this single point of meditation, shamatha practice. If this is what we can do, this is how we are being wisely kind to ourselves. Okay, so with this in mind, the first part, the single point of meditation, we're going to do for 5 minutes. Okay, no more instructions required now. No more instructions required. Okay, be watchful of the mental laxity and excitement, the two errors, by applying the remedies, introspection and mindfulness. Ready? Okay, 5 minutes. Okay. Next, the renunciation. Okay, today we'll do today 17th.
Yes.
17th. Okay, today we'll do the guided meditation, and tomorrow without instruction. We'll try, and then day after tomorrow we'll do with guided. Okay. The most important is for the body posture, just make sure that we sit upright. This is the most important thing. Sit upright. And generally speaking, for the analytical meditation, where your mind is actively analyzing, even if your eyes are closed, it's not really a problem as much. But the single point of meditation, where it's a stillness meditation, there, if you keep your eyes closed, it's very dangerous. And particularly, there are some meditations where you focus your mind on your own mind. Focus your mind on your own mind, also referred to as the awareness of awareness meditation. In other words, Mahamudra meditation. So there, because the mind is very subtle, if you close your eyes, instead of seeing the mind, you can go into like a blank, the blankness, total blankness. And then you stay in this experience. It can be extremely dangerous, extremely dangerous. Okay, so for other single point of meditations like breath, in counting breath is also okay, relatively easier, relatively better. Whereas for the single point of meditation, like just observing the sensations and then the Buddha image and so forth, just more focus on single point of meditation without analysis, your mind can easily go into, say, like a laxity with the enveloped with like a darkness. So this is not a good idea. Okay, for the analytical meditation, because your mind is going to be very actively thinking about various reasonings, reflections, so forth, it's okay. The relatively is easier if you close eyes. Okay, ready? Renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce your miseries. To renounce your miseries. And people have a very naive understanding. Renunciation is to renounce your good food, good house, good clothing, and so forth. This is not really the meaning. It's to renounce your suffering. To renounce the suffering, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the suffering. And out of the various ways by which to meditate on the renunciation of the cause of suffering, then the ground or the basic fabric of all these meditation is the four seals, Buddha's four seals. So we meditate on four seals. First, all composite things impermanent. Composite phenomena referring to those which are composed of either material parts or temporal parts. It's not simply because it's simply as a composition of the parts. Composite parts, every phenomenon, including the non-composite phenomena, they're also composed of parts, but they're not composed of material parts and the temporal parts. What is composed of the material and the temporal parts are only the composite phenomena or the impermanent phenomena. Like a body which is composed of material parts, directional parts, whereas a mind which is composed of temporal parts, temporal segments of the minds. All what is composed of such material parts and temporal segments of the parts should necessarily be of the nature of impermanence, changing. And impermanence is of two kinds, gross and subtle. Gross, the impermanent phenomena, the continuum of which ceases, versus subtle impermanence, referring to the momentariness of all the composite phenomena. It's very important for us to reflect on both the gross, beginning with the gross, and then eventually we move to the subtle. Gross ones, say the beautiful 2018, 2017, 2016, the most beautiful day you were born on this earth, and your parents felt so happy and so proud. The way you described yesterday, seeing your child being born, and there's such a joy there within you. This was exactly what your parents felt when you were born. And in fact, on this earth, who was that person who took pride in your existence? Was your parents. The first time you appeared on this earth, in this world, only your parents were the ones who took pride, who felt such a joy of love towards you. And that moment, that the jubilance your parents celebrated to see that you were born on this earth, that time, the beautiful day was gone. Likewise, we watch the sunset, people love that. And within like half an hour, half a minute, it's gone, the beautiful scenic is gone. That's impermanent. And there are times, school days, college days are all gone. And the merriments, festivities, celebrations, people who took part in those, many of them, not only that event disappeared, but even those people who participated, many of them younger, your age group, older, many of them already gone because of this cancer, that cancer, this accident, and so forth. Many of them are gone. And in fact, there's going to be a day when not even a single person today out of the 7 billion human beings is going to be alive then. Believe it or not, those people 200 years ago, perhaps like 5 billion years ago, 5 billion human beings on this earth. 200 years ago, today not even a single person is left. Out of those 5 billion human beings, how many are being remembered today? Forget about them being existing. They look at those houses, look at the ruins, look at the paintings. Which is so old. From this we can see that it's 100 years old, 200 years old, 500 years old. People who did once, there was somebody who was living, alive, who did it. Now, except for some very famous ones, not even the existence is being remembered. We don't know who they were. This is what the impermanence is. 200 years from now, in the future, not even a single person is going to be left, guaranteed. This is the power of impermanence. This is what the Buddha very powerfully said. All what stands will fall. All what gathers will disperse. All what is accumulated ends in exhaustion. All what is born ends in death. This is reality. And this reality of impermanence, to exist, there must be the change, minute change happening on the yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis. Without the changes that you see on a subtler level, the changes on the gross level is impossible. The change you see on a daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, is only possible if there's a change happening on the millisecond by millisecond. And the millisecond means it's moving so fast. This is reality. It would be good if you can take some time when you have long weekends, like 2 days off, 3 days off, 4 days off. It would be good to sit and meditation, reflecting on the subtle impermanence, how our bodies move so fast, how the world in which we live moves so fast, even your partners, your husband, your wife, your children, your parents, everyone is moving so fast, changing so fast. Momentarily it is like in vibration. This is the fact. We don't see it because our eyes, our mental consciousness, they're blinded from having the vision of the reality. It's quite scary to see, to realize, to discover the reality that composite phenomena, they move so fast with no exception of your own body, your mind, the house in which we are in now, your parents, your children, your family members. Everyone is changing so fast. It's all because of the misconception of seeing impermanent phenomena as permanent, that we feel so relaxed, we feel so laid back, and we feel so lazy. Otherwise, if we see this subtle impermanence, there's no time, there's no room for us to be lazy. Okay, this is the reality. It's quite scary. Yes, indeed. Imagine that you are thrown into a very fast moving train by an unknown person. How scary is it? Yes, of course, it's so scary. The faster the train moves, more fear we'll have. Likewise, the body, our mind, the world is moving so fast, much faster than the fast-moving train. It's very scary. Who determines this, where this train is taking you? What determines where this the very fast-moving train like the body and your mind is taking you? Is determined by the driver. In our case, the driver is the mind. Unfortunately, this mind is under the dictate, under the domain, under the control of the two contaminations, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. As long as we are under these two demons, these two contaminations, as long as we are under the contaminations, the worst of which are the two contaminations, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. As long as we are under these two contaminations, we'll never be happy. They will only take us to the slaughterhouse and to the torture chamber. What kind of torture chamber? They'll take us only to the miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things are suffering nature, to the miseries and suffering. What kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, lamentation, the pain of losing near and dear ones, the pain of meeting with what is undesirable, the pain of not meeting with what is desirable. This is a pain. These pains are so acute, and this is like a ripple. It never ends. And in fact, one such tragedy, one such pain is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of happiness, merriments, festivities, anniversaries, and so forth. Everything seems so shallow, gloomy, dark, so demoralizing, so heavy. This is a fact. There's no point in averting this fact. This is a fact. Yes, indeed, I know this is a fact. Wherever you take birth in the human realm, animal realm, hungry ghost realm, hell realm, even the god and goddesses realm, No point. It's just we are never freed from this reality of the involuntary birth. We've been under sway of the contaminant karmas and afflictions. Very vicious dictate of the contaminant karmas and afflictions. We've been trapped in the samsara. Nowhere, no matter where we take birth, we are never freed from these realities. Is there a way out? Yes, of course. 2018 came to an end on its own. Likewise, these miseries, no way. These miseries, impermanences of two kinds. In fact, three kinds. One whose continuum automatically comes to an end, and the whose continuum will never come to an end. And third category, whose continuum, only if we put effort, will come to an end. If we don't put effort, it will never come to an end automatically. For example, our afflictions, the vicious contaminations, afflictions, contaminant karmas, involuntary birth, and the sadness, the pains, anxiety, anguish, and so forth, they will never come to an end on their own, until we put some effort. What kind of effort required? Okay, this is where we need to be reminded of what the Buddha taught. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena, particularly the miseries, they arise from the causes. We identify the causes and sever the causes to curb the miseries that we're going through. What is this cause? Contaminant karmas, gross afflictions, inappropriate attention, and self-grasping ignorance. And to really eradicate all the sufferings from the root, we need to uproot the final cause, which is self-grasping ignorance. How can we get rid of that? Okay, today let us meditate on the emptiness of somebody who loves you the most, be it your child, your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, or your brother or sister, or whoever. Okay. Just bring to this visualization the person you love the most. How does this person appear to you? Like a dream, your mind is projecting it, or like a movie being projected by the movie projector, or no, not at all. It's nothing to do with the mind, nothing to do with the movie projector. It's so objectively objectified there. How does this person appear to? Which of the two manners that person appears to you? Of course, it's so objectified, so solidly, well defined there from his own side. Yes. This apprehension of the self, that person, the self of that person to be objectively real, this is known as self-grasping ignorance of this person. How can I know that this perception is not valid? Okay, if this perception is valid, then remember what Aranigarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, if this person to whom I love so much were to exist objectively, why don't I see this person as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to this object to see if the person truly exists the way the person appears to me as so objectively real. Going closer to this person, first we see a very thin layer of the skin. And of course, this is not that person. We are only interested in the person. Whatever is not the person, simply let us ignore. Keep that aside, the thin skin. Behind that is a fatty tissues. Of course, that is not that person. Keep that aside. Behind that is the muscles, cartilages. Keep that aside. The bones, the skeleton, the ribs. None of these bones is that person. Of course, keep that aside. The heart, the lungs, the skull, the brain, the liver, kidney, the spleen, intestine, stomach, gallbladder, none of the solid part constitute this person. Okay, the solid parts constitute what we call as the element of earth. Element earth of this person is not that person, keep that aside. Element water, around average 4.6 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not that person, keep that aside. Element of the fire, the body heat, 2,500 joules of energy. Or the body heat, of course, that is not that person, keep that aside. Element of air, the 6 to 8 liters of air that our lungs take in and take out. Of course, that is not that person, keep that aside. The space, 99.999% of our bodily atoms, they are vacuum. The space between the electrons and the nucleus is so huge as compared to the space occupied by the electrons and the nucleus. So essentially, 99.999% of our body is just vacuum. Of course, this space is not me. The space is vacuum in nature, and I'm a solid person. Even the space is also not me. Keep that aside. What is left now? Consciousness or the mind. Even this consciousness is also not that person. This person is male. This person is female. Whereas the consciousness doesn't have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. So therefore, this person is also, the consciousness is also not this person. And also the fact that I can see this person, but I cannot see this person's consciousness. So therefore, even the consciousness is also that person. Keep that aside. Okay, what is left now? Nothing is left there. Where is this person? This person disappears. Okay, that's a very profound experience. But what's the benefit of this? Yes, through this analysis, this person disappears. And at times, a tinge of fear can come in you. And for some, a tinge of a bliss can arise. For others, a tinge of tranquility arises. A tickling sensation can happen. Cold waves can flow through your body skins. Just as this self, when subjected to this analysis, disappears, even all our mental turbulence, sorrow, anxiety, anguish, mental disturbance, if subjected to this analysis, they'll likewise disappear. It's amazing. What we are seeing is the discovery. We are not inventing this. This discovery. Even all these sorrows, agitation, they all dissolve into this experience of emptiness. The moment these sorrows dissolve, a very profound peace, tranquility arises in us. This experience of the acute tranquility in experience of emptiness is known as the experience of nirvana. And the desire, a very strong aspiration, a spontaneous aspiration to achieve that state and abide in the experience is known as the renunciation. Stay in this experience of renunciation for a while. Okay, we'll slowly move to the Bodhicitta practice on the basis of the 5 vegetables. Okay, ready? For the Bodhicitta practice, Okay, just it's all there in this book, but we're going to do just follow the instructions. Just follow the instructions, and then later on, if when you do it yourself, then before you actually do it, you quickly read through what is written there to reinforce what we are going to reflect on. And then during the actual meditation, they no need to look at the book. We should be able to do that all by the personal reflection rather than reading. Okay, ready? Reinforce the visualization of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So compassionate, so loving. The whole space in front of you filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So loving, so caring, so embracing. Your two parents, your children, your family members, and all sentient beings around you. And you are loving, you are very loving and caring towards them. And the purpose of this particular practice is to eradicate the self-centered attitude. Self-grasping, self-centered attitude, which is the source of all pains, unhappiness, anxiety, agitation, and seclusion, and so forth. For that, later on, once you're introduced to the two methods to generate bodhicitta, you can employ these two methods, whereas in a group, because the two methods, they will take a long time. So in group, I prefer to do the 4 immeasurables, followed by the Bodhicitta commitment. Okay, with that in mind, immeasurable loving kindness. Try as much to invoke the respective experience. We cannot expect them to. We cannot expect to have these experiences to be so real initially, and at times it may seem to be so superficial. It doesn't matter. This is how we have to begin, and how we start is superficial will eventually become real. The way we practice the musical instruments. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing their making such a courageous commitment, like the mother, after all these many years of hardships in bringing courage children, today the eldest daughter, age 13, eldest son, age 12, come to the mother, telling the mother, "Mother, please take rest. You have done everything for us. I'm already grown up. I'll take care of my siblings, and I'll also take care of you." And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears after all these many years of hardship that she went through in raising her children. This is exactly what all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are feeling today. They are so happy to see that you are making such a courageous commitment. This intense love, the pride and happiness the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas feel, invoke the Vajra and they invoke the compassionate, omniscient minds to descend in the form of the nectars, the very soothing lights. And the mere touch of the lights and nectars with the Bodhis brings yours, instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the Master Ascension makes you yourself. and you're witnessing such a miracle is happening to us, you all the demon sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, silent relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, the intense happiness and proud of you, this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars of soothing lights to us, you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies and beings of yours washes away all the miseries and the cause of miseries from the sentient beings and yourself. You are witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all the different sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, silent relief. Because of constraint in time, we will skip the remaining 2 immeasurables. We will do the Bodhicitta commitment. Okay, with folded hands. I will say a line of Bodhicitta commitment, and we'll all say this together 3 times after me. After when I say this. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Stay in this courageous commitment. This is the most beautiful mind that exists in this universe. Just a mere experience of this mind in its true form, in a spontaneous natural form, will invariably make us run into tears. It's so beautiful mind. Okay, slowly transform this beautiful mind of Bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, 1 inch or 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting with the heart. It's amazing that we made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all dear sentient beings. But keep in mind that no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil will come out of that. So how do you know that you can become a Buddha? Of course, that's true. I'm not like a handful of sand, I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing of which oil will come out of it. I have a Buddha nature within me. If I put effort, this Buddha nature will manifest in the form of full Buddhahood. But then why not? It has manifested till now. Since time immemorial till now, why did it not manifest? Yes, of course, it's all because of my being deceived by the 2 demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude, thus enveloping, thus enshrouding the Buddha nature with these 2 defilements and making the gold of the Buddha nature not glow because of this soil of the mental defilements. Due Today I'm disillusioned by these two demons. I'm not going to see them as my friends anymore. These are the worst of my enemies. I'm going to exterminate these two. How would I exterminate that? But it's sort of a very powerful remedy. What remedy? The wisdom of emptiness. Okay, let us quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness, which you meditated as the third seal.